allow me to check in on Thunderbolts because I wanted to see how it was doing. So it's currently sitting at 277 million worldwide, right? And that's after what? 2 weekends?
2 weekends and 2 days.
Yeah. So as far as I understand, it's tracking worse than the Eternals at this point. But hey, it's a major hit, apparently, according to all of the outlets that are definitely not paid to report on this stuff positively. Yeah, I'm just curious, like, where do you think this is going to end up? Because the one thing the movie's got in its favor is that it's relatively cheap. It was, what, 200 million, roughly, that they'll admit to? So if I've done my maths right, 200 million production budget, probably another 100 million for marketing. So that's 300 million. Roughly 50% of box office receipts are going to go back to the studio. So you're probably talking about 600 million break-even point. Is it going to get anywhere near that?
I really don't think so. I think that I think it's a better movie than Captain America Brave New World, and I think it'll have a better hold, and it already has over the first weekend. I think you'll continue to see it, slightly better hold than something like Brave New World over time. But you got to remember, even after 2 weekends, it's still $20 million behind Captain America Brave New World. After 2 weekends, Brave New World was at around $290 million globally. This one was around 271. International numbers, it's very, very bad for them in comparison to what they usually expect. Like, it's tracking behind Shang-Chi and Eternals and stuff and Brave New World internationally as well. So I think it's going to end up somewhere in that 425-ish, 430, in that range, which you said they've reported $180 million. So you're looking between 560 and 600 for that break even. I don't think it's going to get anywhere close.
I mean, yeah, I've been seeing 190 million, but like the general rule with Marvel movies or Disney movies is like add 25% to the admitted production budget, because that's usually what you end up with. Yeah, and that's from people that have worked on shit like this that have told me this, so I'm inclined to believe them. But either way, yeah, I don't think it's going to get close to the break-even point, and that's essentially 2 flops in a row for Marvel. So it's all going to hinge on Fantastic Four then, and I think at the moment, like, Superman is probably going to obliterate it. Like, the amount of enthusiasm around that movie is way in excess of Fantastic Four.
It's going to be very interesting to see. I do think that Superman, if I had to pick one over the other, I'd say Superman over Fantastic Four box office wise. I think Jurassic Park, the next universe, Rebirth, Reborn, whatever the fuck that movie's
Regurgitated.
Called. Yeah. I think that's going to blow them both out of the water.
I think it probably will. Like, those movies have a track record of like over $1 billion each, so it'll probably do really well. I don't know if it's the same audience that it's going to cannibalize. Like, obviously, action movies with dinosaurs versus comic book movies, but I suppose it's probably going to be roughly the same group of people. Yeah, I think July is going to be kind of an interesting time because, yeah, man, like, if, say, Fantastic Four does flop, that's 3 flops in a row for Marvel. Like, what the hell do they have then? It's all going to hinge on Avengers Doomsday.
Well, and it's really possible that I actually am looking forward to the Fantastic Four, just because I love the aesthetic of it. I love the art. I love the geometry of the shapes. I love that kind of stuff. But I think that they have to be really a lot more careful about what they put in their lineup, and when they're dealing with some of these it's not like they're less well known, but they're not like top tier brands within their universe. You can't just do like lower level, mid level and expect to do well. You have to like feather in those surefire successes. And anyone who thought that Captain America was going to be a surefire success was an idiot. And it could have done a lot better if they would have actually made a trailer that didn't give everything away. Like, there's just so much. It's like they have forgotten how to do business and they've forgotten how to write. And I don't know what's wrong. Like, they're all losing their mind in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, I think DC and Marvel are both kind of fucked right now. I mean, if I'm like really looking forward to July, because if you consider it, Superman is basically going to be the first movie, after the DC reboot or whatever, where they gave James, who likes to make pedophilic tweets, Gunn, the keys to the kingdom, which is
funny
a decision that still baffles me to this day.
Yeah, funny how Hollywood likes to forget that when he spouts the correct political views, eh?
Right, yeah. You can just talk about diddling children all you want, but as long as you have the right politics, you can come back. I think that's a really interesting standpoint that Hollywood has taken with that one. But, if you consider it, like, Superman is, arguably one of the most iconic, comic book characters of all time. I think he's probably like tied with Batman and Spider-Man, for instance, from Marvel. And you've got those three, as the icing on the cake. And so they're rebooting with not an origin, but a first outing for one of their biggest heroes, and now coming after like Henry Cavill's Superman. And then, Marvel is hitting July with Fantastic Four. I think if Fantastic Four flops and is the third flop for Marvel in a row, and Superman flops, we're really going to see these studios start to cancel a lot of these projects, or the budgets are really going to shrink. I think DC's entire slate pretty much is hanging in the balance, based on whatever happens with Superman.
What did you guys think of the latest Superman trailer that came out? I only say because I'm showing it here.
I didn't like the way it starts.
The interview.
I didn't like the way it starts with the interview and, her pressing him and him getting so defensive. Now, I have no problem with that conversation being a part of the movie. I think it makes a ton of sense for these things to happen and these conversations to happen around Superman. Who does he answer to? What happens when he saves a bunch of people in this building, but in the process, knocks over this thing and people are waiting for their insurance claims and their business cannot, like, all these ridiculous reasons why people would be upset because Superman decided to save this person in that way and blah, blah, blah. I don't like the tone that it sets in the first minute of this trailer by him being coming off so defensive towards her. I think it would have, to me, I think it could have played a lot better if the introduction is instead what Jonathan Kent is saying to him. If you take that scene, and I think it's good, it's your actions, the things you do, like that's what makes you who you are, blah, blah, blah. You put that in the beginning combined with a couple of these clips of him saving people. And that's our first hit when we see this trailer. Yeah. What's in Superman's mind, what he's thinking. And then towards the middle of it, you can maybe get into these things. Well, not everybody's okay with the way you do it. I think that would have come off better. I just didn't like the way it started.
Ryan makes an excellent point. This is something I complain about quite often. The art of the trailer is lost. Like, a lot of these new trailers that are coming out don't understand the storytelling techniques for these little tiny snippets that are supposed to pique our interest about the film. Instead, they give away the film, or they present it in a way where you're like, why is Superman yelling at us right up front? This does not work out. Or, the art of the trailer has just kind of diminished to the point where it actually doesn't serve the purpose most of the time, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's the endless drive to do something different, to find some new innovative way of getting this stuff across, because every studio wants to blaze a new trail. Everyone wants to be like doing the new cool thing that everyone's going to get talking about, because that's ultimately what you want from a trailer, is to get people talking about the movie. So you end up with them, they experiment, they try different things, and sometimes it works, sometimes it absolutely doesn't. And I totally get what Ryan is saying about this interview starts the whole trailer on quite a negative beat. And it's interesting because ultimately it transitions into something way more positive and hopeful and heroic. But it's like you already set the tone with this first minute or so of it. Mm-hmm. And it's not necessarily that palatable. From what I've understood about like what James Gunn has said about this movie, that public perception of Superman is going to be a major component of the film. The almost like the social media trolling against him because, he does the wrong thing, or he causes collateral damage, whatever it is. And, a lot of people have speculated, like, well, is this just James Gunn, like, railing against the people that got him fired from Marvel back in the day? Not sure. but it's tough to
James
ignore that
Gunn
comparison.
loves his self inserts. I mean, look, and I know that people are going to be so mad at me. I just recorded a reaction for this and I said the same shit. Okay, I am the owner of a ratty ass dog. My dog looks like a hyena. He's terrible and I love him. When I think of Crypto, I think of like a big lab or something like that, like a heroic looking dog, because I watched Crypto the Super Dog, the cartoon, when I was a kid, and I had a certain idea of what this stupid dog should look like. And he found this ratty ass terrier that looks like a dog that he has right now. And I swear to you, you can look this up. James Gunn says that while he was writing either this movie or a different one, that he had to sit on the kitchen counter with his laptop because the dog wouldn't stop biting his ankles and it was making him miserable. And that's what Crypto's inspired by. You mean to tell me that we should trust a man who cannot train a dog to lead the Justice League? The precedent that this self-insert bullshit establishes is terrible. It basically sets up, like, to me, Clark Kent should be the goofy, clumsy one who basically covers for Superman, the heroic, stoic guy. And when they both blend into the same person, it makes the guy look like a super dork and reminds me of the line about him in Rapper's Delight about he looks like a sucker in a little red suit or whatever. Like, it's not doing it for me. I don't like this at all. And I hate James Gunn's sense of humor. This is gonna destroy it, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's like, if the way Superman's reacting to these questions and he's like yelling and screaming at Lois, I think it would be one way if he was frustrated with all this stuff building up and he's kind of venting to her, but that's not what's happening, right? It's like, it's his girlfriend who he knows is like, on his side, has his back, but is pressing him the way a journalist would, and he's kind of flying off the handle. And look, I've been known to fly off the handle a time or two, but I'm not fucking Superman, right? So it's just a strange way for them to introduce us to Superman.
Yeah. I mean, I get it in the movie, but not necessarily in the trailer. Like in my day job, I actually work for a media outlet. I work for a magazine, a technology magazine. And the one thing that our reporters always say is, if we have a certain person in the room, we have to ask them the hard questions. Otherwise, it sacrifices our integrity. So I can see why Lois, she's got Superman in the room and she's asking him the hard questions. But for the love of God, don't put that at the start of the trailer. Like, let us see that in the film. Let us build up to that. Let us see how Superman is reacting to social media. I mean, I think it can't be easy. And so how is that coming out in this character? And we see that right here in this picture. Good job.
Yeah, I paused there just the right moment. Yeah, I think neither of them come across great in this interview segment because Lois comes across like she's being unnecessarily aggressive towards him, like really trying to needle him about all this stuff. And he just comes across as a bit of a petulant child, like, well, I had to do the right thing, okay? And it's like, okay, you should be more knowledgeable than that. You should be better aware of like the implications of what you do by this point. And I don't know, it just like neither of them come across particularly likable.
No.
You've got this other weird stuff where he's like fighting a kaiju in the trailer. Like,
there's so many confusing parts to it.
Well, yeah.
I just think they also put too many fucking characters in this thing. Like, it's a bloated movie in general. They got Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner and all this crap.
That
it's his first movie.
That's the James Gunn effect. Like, he cannot do like single character movies. It's got to be a team up.
That man really fruits my fucking loops. Let me tell you.
I mean, he definitely, like, at his best, he is a good filmmaker and he can really hit home run. But his style is very specific and it doesn't fit with every genre. And I'm not convinced he's the right guy to do a Superman film.
I think a lot of us have felt the same thing about James Gunn, specifically when it comes to tackling a character like Superman. Can it work for quirky team-up movies? We've seen it work spectacularly for quirky team-up movies. but is it going to work with Superman? And yeah, it's bloated. There's a lot of characters. You're throwing somebody into a world who he's established as Superman. There's these other characters that he doesn't work with, that he already has beef with. There's a lot riding on this, being big for them. They've spent a fuck ton of money on this movie, and there's nothing. There's a little highlights, here or there with, oh, that's cool, he saved a guy. Okay, that's a good shot. But there's nothing that gets me excited to watch this Superman movie at all.
Yeah.
The only time I felt something was when the John Williams theme tune kicked in.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, like it's referencing a movie from the fucking 1970s. Like that's the only thing that made me feel emotion right there.
I think it would have been better just not to have released this trailer at all.
Oof.
They've got to
CGI
do it.
also
They've
looks
got to...
unfinished to me. I mean, that shot where he's doing the eyes up here thing, that dog irritates the shit out of me. I'm telling you. But it just to me, I feel like his head is out of place on his body or something. He just looks wrong. I will admit it's so funny because in the reaction video I did, I'm bitching about it the whole time, but at the end when he's snuggling the dog, I was like, all right, that's fucking cute.
I mean, James Gunn likes animals, like you said many times.
I'm literally working with my dog asleep on my lap right now, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll take it.
I mean, I'll admit I'm a sucker for animals. I love dogs. I love cats. Nah, I like dogs more, but cats are okay. So I always liked the dog in Superman. This isn't quite the dog I was imagining.
No, he's not Crypto the super dog. I literally, they would put that shit on at 2 a.m. and I was supposed to be asleep and the theme song for Crypto would start. I'm like, let's go. I'm staying up till 3. This is crazy.
It just feels like a tough one to make work because it's like, I genuinely wasn't too aware of Crypto from the comics. I didn't know he was a thing. And so, okay, that's apparently part of Superman lore. How do you have a superpowered dog with a cape around it and still have a movie that you can really take seriously and you're supposed to get super invested in it?
The funny thing is we're spending so much time talking about the dog.
I'm sorry, that's my fault. That's actively my fault. I'm sorry.
It's tough because who knows how big of a part this dog's actually going to be in the movie itself. But the thing is, they have made it a huge part of the marketing. And I get it. Dogs are cute. People love dogs. Women specifically will go gaga over a random cute dog or animal or whatever. So these women gushing over Baby Yoda, whatever the hell.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, and I get that. But then we realize, oh, well, the reason is because look at my dog that I have. And I really wanted to put my dog in this because of these reasons. And it's like, I don't really care about what your life experiences are, James Gunn. I care about fucking Superman. In the same way that now we know we have these online trolls that are actually monkeys working for Lex Luthor because Lex Luthor isn't smart enough to have a fucking AI program that can be a troll farm for him. So he has to have interdimensional monkeys that are his troll farm that are starting these hashtags to get to destroy Superman's reputation.
Oh my god! And
you start thinking about, okay, what is this coming from James Gunn, or is it just kind of natural that that's the way the story happened? And we end up talking about all these different things, and I think it's very distracting, and that's a reason why people are worried about this movie.
There's so many components at this point from marketing and from maybe leaks that I don't have any faith in what we're about to see with whatever this is. Completely open to waiting and seeing what it ends up being as a cohesive whole of a story. But as was what Ryan just mentioned as well, some other things and I have lost faith in James Gunn significantly since what I would consider his peak being something like Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just been more and more downhill. I have not, and all the concerns about whether or not he's capable of doing something like this, and then seeing all of his signatures all over it. It's like, I'm not excited, but give it a shot, right?
Yeah, I'll definitely go see it. And I have a soft spot for the Christopher Reeves movies, and I love those so much, in the John Williams music. So I guess I will always give Superman a try. So I'll just have to see how it goes. But if this is too much about social media and social reactions to superheroes, I don't know if I can take it.
It's Superman for the modern audience. That's also why his suit looks like it's from fucking Party City.
I feel like we're taking this one to the dentist right now. Like,
I know, yeah. It's kind of
like the
freaky when you get like a
dental
close
That
up of
is-
someone's
Yeah.
mouth.
That is the one thing. I think Nicholas Hoult is a fantastic fucking actor.
he is.
And
I mean,
I
he's
think
definitely flavor of the month these days. Like,
and I think that if with the right story, he could be a great Lex Luthor.
Could
The
be.
things we've heard so far about this Lex Luthor and some of the story leaks, don't know if I'm super keen on those things. But that's one thing that I'll be like, I hope we get a great Lex Luthor from Nicholas Hoult. But
that would be nice. That would
That's
be
the one
nice.
thing that I think could be really good. Like I think he's a fantastic actor, and I have faith in him doing Lex Luthor if if the script is good, which it probably won't be. So I guess
It's a
we'll
very
see.
young Lex Luthor. Interestingly, comparing to like Gene Hackman, Kevin Spacey, and stuff. Oh, let's not talk about Jesse Eisenberg. Like,
Yeah, let's.
Oh my god.
he wasn't Lex Luthor. He was just a cosplayer.
He was just Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, exactly. It was weird as well, like that scene where like the fucking hands go over his shoulders. That's like straight out of a horror movie. I'm see if I can bring it back. Like when they're just like, ugh. Like, ugh.
That's more like the Addams Family with Thing. Like,
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah, Superman. Oh right, there's the kaiju.
oh my god, that looks so fake.
It looks like an axolotl because it's got the little
It's
things
got a
on
weird look about it. Yeah.
That is
It's
that Bella
almost
Ramsey
cute.
playing it?
I still, Jesus Christ!
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I
Can't
need to
have
stop
shit in
this. No, I need to
Detroit, my
stop. I need to
God.
stop this.